What's up, everybody, and welcome to the iReach podcast. I'm your host, Paul Robinson, founder and CEO of ConstructReach, a national consultancy and initiative that aims to diversify the construction, design, and innovation industries and empower a younger generation. We are here merging education, industry, and culture with a variety of featured guests that you do not want to miss. So let's go. iReach. On today's podcast, we've got a very special guest, Mr. Teimon Phillips, and hear how he went from only 1 year in college to becoming a certified associate project manager. Tell us a bit about your journey, how you got into this industry, and then we'll get to that point, but you can kind of lead us into it. And like, how did this become the industry for you as well?
Great question, Paul. So I got into construction project management. I kind of fell into it really. I went to school at West Virginia University for electrical engineering, and I was only able to finish 1 year because I got uh, some financial aid that was it was good for one semester, but after that they just didn't have it anymore, and I couldn't afford it. So had to come home after 1 year, and I remember talking to a family member. It was one of my aunts, and she knew I was on the engineering career path, and a close friend of hers was on the engineering career path. He was a mechanical engineer, had been into project management forever. So his name was Rick Pilgrim. She connected us, and he was just like, show up here at 8 a.m. Just be there. We're gonna start working. And so he brought me on as an intern on one of the project he was working on. He was a project manager for Emerge Construction Group, and we were working on the Black History Museum and Cultural Center of Virginia. And I literally knew nothing about it. I didn't even know project management existed. So when I came in, everything was extremely new to me. But I came in with a really open mind, and um, it was a eye-opening experience. I've been doing project management ever since then, and I realized that this industry was for me because I'm someone who loves to be in a fast-paced environment. As a project manager, you got to be comfortable with making decisions and making decisions when no one is really there to lead you to do it. So I'm the type of guy. I'm gonna shoot the three. If I got the three open, I'm gonna shoot the three. I don't need nobody to say go ahead and shoot it. I'm gonna take my chances. I'm gonna take my shots because I love to achieve. I love to do great things for people to see it and for it to help my team. So I realized that this project management is a really great fit for me.
No, that's good, man. Thanks for sharing. And that's true. I mean, you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take, right? So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yep.
you gotta take that shot, man. Coming into project management and realizing that that is the role for you, the niche for you, man, within this industry. What skills did you have? Because you like the fast-paced environment that construction and project management affords. I agree with that. There's always a lot of moving parts. It's a very dynamic role within that space. What type of skills did you already have that were like easily to be transferred into that role?
Okay. I've always been a person that I'm not always going to follow what everyone else is doing. So that allowed me to establish myself as a leader in just about anything it is that I do. So, my ability to be a leader and to point out things when they're wrong, feel even in situations where you feel like, man, if I say this, that guy might not be happy that I'm saying this, but at the end of the day, as a leader, if you're going to lead a project, you got to be able to have difficult conversations, and that's nothing that I've ever really shied away from. I would say also, and this is one of the things that I typically put on my resume, is my ability to be adaptable. Construction process is the process, but when you're completing construction, it doesn't always go like you plan it. So you have to have that flexibility and adaptability to be able to, you know, um, experience a setback and figure out how you're going to solve it to keep that project on track and don't spend too much money either.
Hey, scope, schedule, budget. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, that's good, man. But I think that's a very good quality and skill to have, man, about being adaptable, being able to be
yeah.
flexible because things change, right? And so how can you take in, right, the changes that are happening and then pivot if you need to so that things can continue to go forward.
Hmm.
and everybody doesn't approach things like that. Everybody's kind of like, hey, this is what I set out to do. This is how it was supposed to go. And they put up this fence or this wall or this defense mechanisms when everything around them is telling them that they need to shift. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so I feel like that's a very good skill to have, man, because the only constant in life is change. So there needs to be some flexibility, man. When it comes to leading and trying to get things done, because there's this, to keep it in the terms of construction, there's a lot of unforeseen conditions that may arise, that may come up, and so being able to navigate through that, I think it's a very good skill. So no, that's good.
Yeah, and the project management process is adapting to that because it used to be very strict. This is how the project is going to flow. But now, a lot of companies they prefer that agile aspect of, you know, you develop a plan for how you're going to adapt to the change more so than saying I'm going to develop my project management process and this is what we're going to do. We know it's going to change. So whenever there's a change, you just, you just adjust in iterations and just jot down the changes, record that for next time. So when you go to the next project, you're able to predict it a little better.
Oh man, that's good. You mentioned something else with sharing your story, and different questions always come up, man, when I ask people to share their journey and how they got to where they are, because everybody's got their own unique journey. And you mentioned, going to college, but then only being there for 1 year and then having to go back home. Like, talk to me a little bit, man, about like how you dealt with that mentally, because that could be a breaking point for somebody, right? To see that, as regardless of how it happened, sometimes a person can feel like a failure, or things didn't work out and they're struggling with comparing themselves to their peers who may have went on to go and do something else, and they now have to go back home. Like, how did you ever struggle with any of that when you had to go from college to back home, just because things didn't work out after the first year?
Great question. Not really, because it all goes back to a saying. I remember my dad telling me this a long time ago. He's just like, no matter what happens, you just got to keep moving your feet. And it was a good reference from him because, like, he grew up. He didn't really have a lot, a lot of money and things like that. So he didn't have a car for a long time. So he would walk a lot of places. He was like, I don't care where I got to go. I know if I got to be there, I got to start moving my feet to get there. So when I experienced that setback with college, it didn't mentally affect me because I knew that, like, what am I going to do? Just curl up in a ball and give up? I wasn't going to do that. I knew I just had to find another way. So I just continued to move my feet until another opportunity presented itself.
No, that's good, man, and I'm glad you got a chance to share on that. Just because with the audience that we do have, and trying to show a younger demographic the different routes that people take, you know, there's some things that could be perceived as a setback, but how do you recover from that? And it could be setting you up for actually the direction that you truly need to go in, and so. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I got a chance to put a pin in that, man, and allow you to unpack that a little bit about how you dealt with that and how you took that in. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's good, man. So you've been in this industry now, man, for a little minute. There's of course, this is an industry that still needs a lot of progress to take place, when you think about the demographic that is represented within this industry. But what do you like most about the industry, that's kind of served as, maybe your proudest moment, but then what's also been one of the most challenging things that you have to deal with as well, or had to deal with?
Okay, I'll go with the challenging one first because this one always sticks out in my mind. I started construction and I came in at a semi leadership role when I was 22. So I was very young, and we all know construction. There's a lot of older men in construction, and they don't really always respect the fact that a 22-year-old is telling them what to do,
Yeah.
or
Hey,
trying to give
22-year-old
them
black man.
22-year-old black man at that. Like a lot of people don't
Call
want
a
to hear
spade a
that.
spade. Yeah.
They don't want it. They don't want to hear nothing you got to say. So I just recall one time it was this gentleman. He was extremely talented. Carpenter. I don't remember exactly what the conversation was one day, but he just he just had an attitude. He just did not want to deal with me. He didn't want to hear anything I had to say. So I had to really approach them and say, look, you can have it. You, number one, the way you're talking right now, we shouldn't be doing that at work. We're here. We got a job to do. No matter how you feel about what's going on, this house has to be built. This house is going to be built with you or without you. So I can send you home if you want to go home, or we can really figure out what it is that we got, what the issue is, so we can learn how to work together. And that's just one instance I recall, but that has been one of the most challenging aspects, just being young and dealing with older contractors who've been doing work longer than I've even been alive.
And look, that seems like that's what they lead with too. When you try to correct
Yeah,
them. Listen, I've been doing this for 25 years. I've
that's
been doing this longer
that's
than
the
you've been
one.
alive.
That's the one. That's the one.
They always lead
I,
with that. Yeah.
I got socks older than you.
Yeah, right. Like I understand, man, but what I'm saying is still valid. What you're saying
Yeah,
is valid, but that's not for this conversation, right? So
yeah. I got to give one of them some credit though. That was one of the best things I heard. I got socks older than you. I
yeah.
had to laugh at that one.
Yeah. Like, man, we need to get you some new socks.
You proud of that?
Right. I don't know if you should be sharing that. Nah, that's cool, man. So what's been the most proudest moment, right?
Yeah, one of my most proudest moments is, I would have to say, is receiving my certification from the Project Management Institute. I'm currently a certified associate in project management. The CAPM, that's the CAPM behind my name. Um, do I had to get that one? I was actually going for the PMP, and I had to get the CAPM as a prerequisite because I didn't finish college. I didn't have a college degree. But this moment stands out as one of the proudest moments to me because it really opened the door to me, to or it opened my mind to all the opportunities that are out there when you really put that effort in to, do that self development, go get that extra training, go to school, learn something, and get some certification behind you. Um, it was just a really eye opening moment for me.
Yeah. No, that's good, man. Yeah, we definitely applaud that, and just pressing through.
It goes back to your original point, man. Everybody's path isn't the same, and we got to remember, school is a privilege. Not everybody has that opportunity to go to school and get that degree that's going to really put you in a position to follow the ladder, So everybody's path is different, so you just got to keep walking down it.
Yeah, but I think you are a testament that, hey, just because I didn't have that degree from a traditional route, right? Coming straight out of high school, going right into, a 4-year university or what have you, doesn't mean that I do not have like what's needed in order to add value. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why we do what we do, man, because you have to be able to showcase different routes and people arriving at this same level or various levels, right? So that people can see it's not one pathway to success, and it's not what type of background that allows me to get to a particular place, And so we have different experiences, man. We go through different things. And being able to have a variety of stories and journeys, I think it allows people to find some sort of connection with first somebody they can identify with, but understanding that, hey, if they were able to do it, then I can too. Or they're able to have a different outlook and perspective on their current situation. You know what I'm saying? Because some people, they feel like they can't recover, or because things didn't work out the way that they thought it should, then they've got to now go a different route. And it's like, no, just because something is hard don't mean it's impossible. And just because you got to work at it don't mean it ain't for you.
Yeah, and we were talking a little earlier. What one thing I would like to see change about the construction industry is to allow more entry level positions into these sort of management roles, because going back to my point, school is a privilege. Not everybody can get to school. Not everyone can get to college. Not everyone can get those degrees. So I think if there were more opportunities for people to get that entry level, like when I came in, I had zero experience. I was sweeping the floor. I did anything I needed to do to stay there because I knew that this was a great opportunity that I could really learn a skill that was going to change my life. And there's a lot of people who will get in and put that same effort. They'll put that same effort into developing into developing their career. So I would like to see more entry level opportunities for management.
Yeah, no, that's good, man. Yeah, I mean that's definitely a change that I think is needed. And you have people that are listening to that and understanding kind of that writing on the wall, man, to adopt some different ways of doing things and understand how there's a lot of talent that's out here. How do we best assess talent, right? Given the different routes that people have taken,
That's an
you know.
excellent way to put it. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that is that's good. That's good, man. So listen, we oh my gosh. We have this CRC, right? We've got this community app, if you will, because at Construct Reach, it's all about driving community, man. And we always pose questions in here from time to time. And I'm gonna put this kind of in the middle of our segment here. But one of the questions that we have going on is this one right here, and I want you to kind of think through this and let me know what your answer is. Um, how would you, and I think this is very relevant because we have mental health conversations going on a lot now in society and things of that nature. We know how laborious sometimes the industry of construction can be. So this is the question that we have, right? So how do you deal with work stress? That's the question, right? How do you deal with work stress?
Okay. Interesting question. I recall back at one of my previous positions, we used to do it was either a weekly or a bi-weekly meeting with the CEO. And the second question on that meeting agenda was, what is your stress level? And it had a little chart. It was like from 0 to 10. And I always put 0 because honestly, I never feel stress. I don't feel stress with work. Um, I want to do the difficult stuff. I
Yeah.
love doing the difficult tasks. Like I mentioned earlier, I want to shoot a 3 point from the logo,
Yeah.
and like I might miss it. And if I miss, I'm the type of guy that's like, yo man, I took that 3 point shot from the logo. I probably shouldn't have did that. Here's what I'm going to do to be more efficient with my shooting, or pass it over to the team. So I never really feel stressed because I don't, you know what? I don't know what to really attribute it to. I guess it's just the fact that I always want to do good. I want to do the difficult work, and I want to achieve. I love recognition, and I love to, make my team and make the company better. So I don't typically feel stressed.
That's a very interesting question. Because I'm trying to think about like anyone or it's just myself really that would
Yeah,
always have a zero.
yeah. It was
Because I
always
kind of
zero.
I consider myself to be like cool, calm, and collected, right?
Yeah.
I can manage things well. I don't get
Mhm.
stressed out about stuff, but I feel like there are some stressful things.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to figure out like if there is a delineation between maybe like angst and stress, right? So
Okay.
if I if I'm anxious to do something or what I'm saying? Like does that
Okay.
make sense? Are
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I would feel a little anxious about stuff. That's true. Yeah.
Okay.
So if we want to put it in those terms, like if I know, like, man, I really got to get this right, or this is gonna
Yeah,
cost a
yeah.
lot of money. I'll feel a little bit before I get it. Like, yeah, or you found out about a big change order, now you gotta call the homeowner and say, hey,
Yeah.
yeah, here's an extra, ten
Yeah.
thousand that
See,
we found that
those kind of
you
guys,
could
see,
just
my
do.
heart started beating a little different.
Yeah, 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 yeah. You should have made the call 10 minutes ago, but now you're like, oh, you just sitting there like, man, I gotta call this person. Yeah, I felt that before for sure,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
Okay. Yeah, but no, I get it, man. I think but yeah, that delineation though, between those two, right? But yeah, I do. I think that that's very good, man, to keep it low because the stress it affects the level of productivity. It can it can affect morale and everything because I think stress can come out and seep out in a variety of different ways, man. When work is stressing you out, and so no, that's good. But yeah, I mean that's the question. It's interesting, that um, you had the zero. I wonder when we start to look inside of our community and toss that question around, like what's going to be the numbers, right? That come in for that. How many zeros we get?
Yeah. But look, think about it like this. On the flip side, those difficult moments when you when you hit that shot, and they be like, "Oh, did you see him? He just shot that over like five people." And it's like, "Yeah, y'all saw that, right?" Y'all, I love that feeling, man. I'm a competitor. I'm really a competitor, and I just love to compete. And it goes back to sports with me. It just always feels like that.
So listen, man, I know we've been talking about the construction industry. Anything else that you got going on that you do in life, man, that you're looking to kind of inspire others with? We share these journeys that people have, that come into this industry, man, into their professional career from a variety of different angles and perspectives. But also, what I love about this is that you get a chance to see like what drives people or what experiences that they've had that allows them to serve others or provide opportunities for others. Like, do you give back in any way, or like has your life experiences or opportunities that you've been afforded kind of allow you to kind of pay that forward and create spaces for other people?
Yeah, so I'll speak on two things. So one, I created a company called Pro Creators LLC, and it's an audio and video production company. And one of the main things we focus on is finding entry level people who have zero experience in audio and video production and giving them the training and tools to learn a skill. Because it was like a breakthrough moment I had maybe 2 years ago. I realized that if you don't have a skill, the outcome or the trajectory of your life is it's probably not going to be that high because you don't have anything that you can like market yourself with or even something to develop to put yourself in a better position. So I wanted to take the opportunity to give people a opportunity to learn a skill to that learning audio and video production, that's really big now. You can go off and be a marketing guy. You can create your own content and market yourself. There's a lot of different ways you can go for that. People pay a lot of money for people with audio and video production skills. So um, there's that. And then I created a podcast. I'm originally from Richmond, Virginia, and it's called New Richmond Podcast. And the whole purpose I created this platform was to allow people to, well, so number one, my co-host and I would bring up topics about things that are happening in Richmond, Virginia, whether it was a restaurant that we love, it could be a great boxer, a music artist, anyone who's doing something. We wanted to create that platform for them to be talked about and be heard about, but also for them to come on and talk about themselves for free. I before I got into project management, I was doing fashion modeling, and I hit a lot of good milestones in my career. And when I came back home, I reached out to a few local media outlets, and I'll say, "Hey guys, I, I think this is a good story. Let's talk about it." And like, okay, here's our package. It's going to cost X amount of dollars, and I ain't mad at you for real. Like, get your hustle on. But if Jay Z came down here, y'all would not be charging that man to talk about nothing. Like, I'm from here. Like, this to be. So that saying that drove me to create a platform that to allow people to talk about themselves for free. I ain't gonna charge you nothing. I want you to have the content to market yourself. I want you to be all you can be. So yeah, I would say those are the two things.
Yeah, yeah, creating platforms, creating spaces, man, and opportunities. No, that's good. That's good. Man, no, it's been a very good conversation, man. It's amazing how fast this time flies. What would you say? What would you say to any young person that's listening today? In terms of what the construction industry has to offer, what this sector has to offer. Because a lot of times I feel like there's just limited understanding about what you can do, right? So what would you leave them with, man?
Oh, I would say, man, there's a ton of opportunity in the construction industry. You can be a tradesman. You can be a guy who's just really good at software. You can create construction schedules. There's a lot you can get into within the industry. I would say go, jump in, however you can get in. Like I said, I came in sweeping floors, and poof, I learned project management, and now I've been project managing for the last 7 years. This is, I think it's a doorway that's really worth walking through. You don't even have to know where you're gonna go yet, but just find something that's interesting about it and just go and learn a skill. The trajectory of your life is gonna go up, guaranteed.
Teimon Phillips, man, it's been a pleasure having you on, brother. Much
Thank you,
success to you.
Paul.
Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a real pleasure talking with you. You even given me something to reflect about, because it's not so often I look back to see, what I've been through and what happened, but I just feel like I'm extremely blessed, and I'm blessed to even be on this platform for us to talk about it. It's I hope a lot of young people see this, and they take from it what they need, and they just go. They just go, man. Go learn a skill.
Thanks again, everybody, for tuning into our show. Remember, like, share, subscribe to the podcast, and join the movement as we reach to build a better future that we can all be proud of.